Well, good Thursday morning, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. I'm here in the kitchen. It is still, well, it's just 7 o'clock. But cooking a small meal just for Kim and myself. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. And one of the things I'm going to be doing is making some cornbread stuffing. So, got these laid out. Going to be making a double recipe. So that's going to make a lot of cornbread, but half of that's going to go into the stuffing I'm going to make a little bit later. But for the bread for the meal, love corn sticks, and I have been carrying around. This is a Lodge cast iron corn stick pan that I've had for just a long time. And we were at the little Amish antique store that we frequent, and right there hanging on the wall was another one. And I have looked for another one of these everywhere I've gone that may have had used cast iron. Never did see one, and there was one hanging on a nail, and it is the exact same model. And I have a tin or aluminum, whatever it is, corn stick pan down there in the cupboard, and I find that it burns the cornbread. Don't like the way they work at all. So yeah, I was very happy to get this one, and we cleaned it up, seasoned it, and it's ready to go. So we're going to get all of this oiled and get them into the oven and get it preheated. Then we'll start the cornbread mix. But yeah, making Thanksgiving supper. It's going to be a good day. I like to put all the wet ingredients in the bowl first. And so what I've done is I've doubled everything that the recipe on the bag calls for. And so that's going to be 2 2/3 cups of milk, and that is 0% skim. And so we're going to put 1/2 cup of canola oil in there. And I'll tell you, the only luxury I'm going to allow myself is I found when you make cornbread, really egg is pretty much a plus and a must if you don't want the cornbread a couple of days down the road to just fall apart, and it does. So we're going to put 2 large eggs in there. Just throw those over into that garbage bowl. They'll make their way out to the compost bin. Alright, we have all that together. That's pretty much all the wet ingredients. And I just kind of emulsify everything. Just take a whisk, break the eggs up, and just get everything mixed together. So I figure with the no-fat milk and the canola oil, 2 eggs, and that's not going to give me a heart attack. So I do allow myself a little of the old pleasures in life. The egg in here helps the oil mix with the other wet ingredients, and it just kind of makes an emulsion. So now we're going to be ready to add the dry ingredients, so we'll get those together. Alright, so I went and measured out 4 cups of cornmeal mix. Have it in there. We're just whisking that in. And just been about right amount of time for those pans. Just whisking this up, getting some air involved in it. And that is just about the perfect consistency. And you just want to fill them up just to where they're about level. It's not the neatest operation, but any of the crumbs that form on the top part, they're going to get scraped off into the stuffing. So I'm going to do the first skillet, and I want these to be kind of thin because I'm going to flip them and get that crust on both sides. That's going to be about it. Just knock it around a little bit, spread it, hear it sizzle. And that'll even itself out just from the heat. So in this one goes. Alright, batch number 1. Oh man, that smells great. with just the right color. And if you just baked a batch of bread, you have that steam rolling off and it really smells good. The steam is a good thing, but what that steam indicates is that your bread's drying out. That moisture belongs in the bread. So what I do is I pop these right into a zipper bag because I want these to stay moist. Now the other ones I'm not too worried about because they're going to become the ingredients of a baked dish. Alright, here's the second one coming out, flipped, right back in, right back into the oven. We'll see those again in 10 minutes. Alright, number one. Yeah. What do you think it smells like in here?
It smells pretty yummy.
Pretty yummy.
Keep the camera over there.
I don't have a cameraman, but I'll tell him to pan right. There's the other one. That's going to be the cornbread stuffing. Goodness gracious.
Very nice.
Well, that's a Tennessee Ernie Ford. Goodness gracious, it's pea-picking good. It's what he would say about Martha White. Self-rising cornmeal with hot rise plus.
How do you remember that stuff?
Because my parents listened to the Grand Ole Opry
over and over
when I was growing up. So, and that was their sponsor. When the main sponsor was Martha White, and Tennessee Ernie Ford would come on and do his little bit. And
but you kill me how
that's
you
back
remember.
when, well, yeah.
You remember the commercials like I. Yeah.
I remember the entertaining, tasteful commercials. And that was a good one. That's back
it's
when.
A beautiful smell.
Well, that's back when the show only needed one sponsor.
Yeah, you're right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like the old Jack Benny show. One sponsor for the whole show.
Maybe that's why you remembered it.
Possibly.
It was just one, yeah, over and over.
Okay, well, we've got the cornbread done, so these I'm not worried about. Now, I put the corn sticks, which you have not seen yet, in this plastic. They did turn out beautifully, actually.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so they're staying moist.
Okay.
These, I don't care if they dry out because they're going to get mixed with other wet ingredients and made into our cornmeal stuffing. So
Well, it smells delicious in here.
it's going to smell good all day, hopefully, unless I really make a flub.
No, I'm sure you won't. I'm sure you won't.
So anyway, yep, cornbread turned out good. It's just going to sit here and cool. So don't really have a whole lot of other things to do for a few hours. Not going to rush this, going to be relaxed. It's a day off and it's a day of things. So we will be back, folks. Well, hello, Jasper. Jasper is standing watch on the Maytag cart. Hopefully we'll be carrying it outside and starting it a little later. I'm sure he sniffed it out real well. What do you think, Jazz? You getting hungry? Yeah, me too. And I've started this little chef's pan here on a medium heat. I'm going to put just a little bit of canola oil in it. We're getting ready to build the stuffing. There we go. Keep that handy. So I went out to the garden, picked some herbs and other ingredients, and first thing I'm going to do is just start sweating out these onions a little bit, which Kim was nice enough to peel for me. I love slicing and dicing onions and all that. I can't stand to peel them. For whatever reason, I never did like that, so she was kind enough to do that for me. So in there, I'm going to put the onions, and then I'm going to put a nice measure of minced garlic. There we go. Get going on. I don't cook these a lot. I just want to soften them a little bit. Let this flavor base start building. These are ruby charred stems chopped, and as I have said maybe in another video, they make a great substitute for celery. A little more interesting flavor than celery. So get those stirred in there. Don't like a lot of it. I'm going to go ahead and get some herbs in there. Now this is chopped fresh sage. Going there, about 4 leaves, just chopped up really fine. And I like to put some oregano in my stuffing, so that is fresh oregano. That stuff's still holding on pretty well. So this is these are the 4 ingredients that I want to put in this pan. I'll run my heat down just a little bit, and I just want these flavors to start mingling, and this stuff just to soften a little bit. I've already crumbled the cornbread up into a large bowl, not too finely. So while we've got that going on, I'm going to go ahead and this is just kosher salt. I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Black pepper. And then also in here, a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes. Once we go through this bottled stuff, we have plenty of red peppers that we have dried and strung. Kim strung them up and they're drying in the other room there. Well, they're just about ready to use, and we're going to go with our own stuff when we get the store-bought out of the way. We're almost there. Yeah, get that evened out nicely. I'm going to cover that. And in about 4 minutes or so, we're going to move on to the next phase over here on the island and get this dish assembled. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. And we will be back. Oh, it's just a few minutes later. And this is my bowl of crumbled cornbread. So I'm going to go ahead and take the ingredients that we sauteed. I'm going to put those in there. There we are. And now I'm going to start building this up. This is a couple of cups of stock, and I have melted the equivalent of a stick, 8 tablespoons of coconut oil into it, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that a couple more times just to make sure it's all melted. Now, I'm going to use this parsley in a couple of dishes. This is picked out the garden, so I chopped it up really fine, and I want to take about half, and that's going to be about a heavy half cup. I put that in there, and you can see the cornbread. And this is just a can of stems and pieces, mushrooms, juice included. So I put that in there. And then this is a small can of just diced up oysters and the liquid that comes with it. Now, you don't have to put oysters in this, but I tell you, it really tastes good. If you're an oyster fan, you'd like it. If not, of course, you're not going to want to put this in there. So all I want to do right now, I don't want to crumble the cornbread much more than it was initially, so I'm going to fold this. Just going to reach under and pull the cornbread on top, just get the ingredients mixed down in there. And then all we want to do, as soon as that stock is heated with that coconut oil, I want to start adding it until this is pretty well saturated. Now, a lot of the moisture is going to bake out in the oven. The last thing I want to do, because I have the coconut oil floating on top, so I'm just going to take a little whisk and I'm going to stir it up just a little bit, get it kind of mixed in with that stock underneath. And before it can separate back out, I'll pour a little bit of it in there, and then let's start folding. And when it's moist enough, we'll pack it into a baking dish and get it in the oven. Alright, did the covered dive and got my baking dish out. So we're going to put this in here now. And probably going to bake this about 45 minutes to an hour. I want it to dry out a little bit but I also want it to be good and hot because I'm going to stuff the bird with a large part of this, and I want it hot when it goes into the chicken. That way, if I put it in there cold, it might impede the chicken cooking all the way through, and nobody wants that. So, yeah, just push this out. Just spread around in your pan. Oh gosh, you could eat it just like this, but it's always better when it bakes. So then I just take my spatula or spoon and I just kind of give it a little bit of texture on the top, and that will make little crunchy places. So into the oven it goes. And I'll just check it, and I usually tell by the top of it. If it has that nice brown look, then I know it's pretty much ready. But it's going to go in there, and we will come back when we're having this meal closer to completion. Smelling good in here, though. You're going to do a long, indirect heat type of cook. You just want to light the center of the charcoal, and then when the time comes to put the turkey in there, I'm going to spread these around. This is a mixture of apple and hickory chips. I'm just going to spread them in a slow spiral around there so the heat will get to them a little at a time. And I have blended wood chips together before, and they add a nice touch. And the apple and the hickory on this chicken for Thanksgiving, I think is gonna turn out nice. Stuffing is done. So I'm going to grab it, get it out of the oven here, and there's not room for a lot of it in here, but we can stuff it pretty well. Okay, that browned up really nicely. Alright, just going to prop this bird up a little bit. Start here at the end. Oh wow, breaking that crust. That smells good. Oh my goodness. I'm patting myself on the back. I'll take a toothpick and pin that shut right there. I'll do that before I lay it down. And then this is going in the egg, and we'll meet you all outside when we're getting ready to put it in there. Alright, it's about ready to get cooking here. Temperature inside of here has just reached 200 degrees. And we've got a good deep little hot coal section going on. So what I do with these, I'll put them right on the center, the bulk of them. I want the heat to reach them slowly over the next 3 hours or so. So I just kind of put them to the outer perimeter. As the fire burns from the center out, it'll get them. And then right at the end, I'm going to go ahead and put some on there, and I'm going to open the egg up, get some airflow going. There we go. We're just starting to get a little bit of subtle smoke. And what I don't use, I just let them dry out, put them right back in the Ziploc baggies inside that little garbage can where I keep the wood chips. So I'm going to take my plate setter and set that down in there. And I'm going to get the turkey. And before, when I used to cook poultry in a conventional oven, I would brine them. And that is just it's a reverse osmosis thing that you soak it in a salt solution with some other spices. The idea is to keep the juice inside the meat. With this grill, I don't have that problem. Everything comes out of here juicy, not dry. So now we've got some good smoke started. So I'm going to go ahead and close the lid and check my shutters here. And I'm going to keep that bottom open just to get the fire caught back up. And in about 3 hours, this is going to start tasting good. Just about up to 200. I'm going to let it creep up to that. And it's smoking nicely. I've got the sweet potatoes cooking in there. I'm making enough sweet potatoes to do mashed sweet potatoes. Going to be making a a brown whole wheat gravy out of that for those, and then cooking enough sweet potatoes to make a sweet potato pie. So we'll be doing that. Now the sweet potato pie, I want to time that to where it is done just before we eat, since you're supposed to serve that warm. So just going to enjoy this. Now that the turkey's on, it's officially time to have an adult beverage. So I'm going to do that and just enjoy the day. And I hope you guys are enjoying yours too. There it is running. Maiden voyage on the cart, and it's the cart's not rolling, but I have a feeling it would be if I didn't have it on there. And I don't think that oil exhaust is going to be a problem at all. Just seeing how it's got a lot of clearance. This is kind of going out to the side. It may get a little oil film on it. And I really don't think it's going to hurt the thing, but yeah, just going to sit out here and have a cocktail and start it a few times. Now, I will admit something. That kick pedal, I did notice that when I was kick-starting it before, when the kick pedal goes down to start, it comes in contact with the original skid that it was on. And I don't want that. It had left a small impression in the wood. Not horrible, but I don't want it to get worse. So I'm probably going to have to change something about the height of the engine. Nothing major, but I want it to get up there to where that kick pedal, when it comes down, doesn't strike any wood and make a mark. So yeah, I started this thing with a good old electric drill. Just all you got to do is hit it once, and it just a couple spins, and she's firing. But I'm not going to do anything with the kick pedal on that thing until I know that it will not strike the skid anymore. Or the cart. I don't think it hits the cart, but I know it hits that original skid that's on there. Yeah, it's hitting a nice little even lick. And I can feel the deck shaking under my feet every time that thing hits. I think that exhaust is staying put on that support that I made for it. So yeah, she vibrates a lot, but I think that's the nature of the beast with these. Start on the dessert now. Just rolling out a pie crust here. This is going to be a sweet potato pie. So we're just going to get this on here and get it into our pie shell, or to our pie dish. There we go. Whole wheat flour for my board. It's all we have in the house, and really that's okay with me. So I'm going to get that just seated in there nicely. I'm just going to roll it under and give it a pinch. Not too fancy, but just a little bit of a raised crust. So what I'm going to use is just about a 1/4 cup of honey, because the sweet potatoes are sweet already, and honestly they're sweet enough for us. We have been really off of sugar and sweets for going on a year now, so not going to miss that. Oven's preheated to 350. Turkey's doing fine, and this is a little over 4 cups of cooked and mashed sweet potatoes. We're done with a rolling pin. So in here, I have 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. Okay, ready to go again. So we're going to, most of the recipes call for a cup of sweetener. Not going that route because these sweet potatoes already have a nice sweetness to them. So I'm going to go with 3 tablespoons of this locally raised honey. There we are. Let's just cream this all together. Calls for 2 eggs. Because it is a custard, you know. There's 1. There's 2. Alright, let's go ahead and beat them in. Okay, so, teaspoon of vanilla. Found a good deal on the real stuff. There's that. Just going to set these ingredients over here as I use them. And half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And maybe just a little extra. This is organic cinnamon. It really has a more intense flavor. It's really good. 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. And this is where nutmeg shines in a dish that you actually cook with heat. If you try to eat this stuff cold, you're not going to like it. But if you put it in a dish and bake it, let those oils release, it comes out tasting a little bit better than tree bark. For 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice, and I used to do it this way, and that's going to be good there. And half a teaspoon of ground ginger. Start mixing that together a little bit. Three-quarters of a cup of milk. We're going with coconut milk. Start adding this and then folding it around, and on the sweet potatoes I mashed them, I scrubbed them, I did not peel them. It's the fiber I'm after with these. That's the whole point. There's a lot of fiber and nutrients in the skin, so I didn't peel white potatoes either. Just never saw the point. I guess we're just going to start stirring that in. Raised some really nice sweet potatoes in the garden, and we're going to raise twice as many this coming spring. They really did. They did well, and armed with the experience of this year, I know what I want to do differently, and I want to double my yield at least. We really like it. We make fries out of these, mashed potatoes. This is the first dessert we've had. We like them roasted. They're just a wonderful vegetable. So this is all incorporated. And as this is baking, this has to bake for an hour. Just like any custard pie, until the center is set. Alright, we're going to add that to our pie shell. spatula and get all of it. It's not a widely eaten pie. If you like pumpkin pie, I think you would like this better. You just hear about this more down south. That is going to be good. And bottom rack. For 1 hour. Alright, I don't know how well you can see here, but getting ready to start the gravy. And here I have 1 tablespoon of canola oil, 3 of coconut oil. And to that, I'm just going to add 4 tablespoons of whole wheat flour. And it's usually a 1-to-1 ratio of fat or oil to flour. And we're going to start cooking this. And we're just making what's called a roux. And the key to making one is keep it moving. This is just going to be a chicken gravy, and it's going to be a medium dark gravy. I've got the water boiling over here. I'm going to add some sweet potatoes into that now. Just to add to what we had, that sweet potato pie took most of the sweet potatoes I had cooked previously, so here's a couple of more. So we're just going to put those in there and let those start cooking along. The only other thing we had to cook is we're going to steam some broccoli and some corn together. And that's going to pretty much round out a Thanksgiving dinner. So what we want to do is just let that start cooking, and we're just going to watch the color. We're going to toast the flour, essentially. So when this roux gets to the point where you think you're going to want your gravy, color-wise, you're just going to pour your stock in. And it's going to be lively when you pour your stock in there, because you essentially have melted fat here, to which you're going to be adding something that's water-based. So it's exciting. And that is about what we want. So in goes this. And that's going to stop the cooking process of the roux. And that's going to start working on those starches, making them kind of plump up and make what we know as gravy. At this point, I'm adding a can of stems and pieces, mushrooms. And now is the time when I want to season to come back up to a boil. So the thickening agent, which is the flour, that reaction can happen. There we go. And get our black pepper in there. Simple little gravy, but it tastes really good on the sweet potato. Here comes our boil. Alright. I'm waiting for that heat to all equalize. Let's go ahead and put a little white down. There we are. Once we get a rolling little simmer on that gravy, we can turn the heat down. Just let it slowly thicken up, and then we'll lid it up and put it on just a gentle low heat. I keep calling this a turkey. I guess you can't blame me since it is Thanksgiving, so have a look at that. Oh my gosh, look at the color on that. And the smell is great, and yeah, it's not doing badly. I'm going to get my probe thermometer and put in there, and let's just see where the temperature is. It's not far, I'm thinking. I've got that probe thermometer in there, kind of going in under the wing to the thick part of the breast. Just going to leave it in there for about a minute, and then we'll come back and look at that. The only thing I had to do is to make some honey whipped cream to top the pie. So this is 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. To that we're going to add by eyeball, a good heavy teaspoon of vanilla extract, just like that. And then we're sweetening this with honey. And this is my decadence for the year. There we go. I'm going to go 2 tablespoons of honey in here. That's just about as much sugar as you would put in. There we go. That is good stuff. All right. Start out slow and then doesn't take long with this mixer. Alright, that's finished, and I see my camera battery is getting ready to run out, so I'm going to go out to the shop, put a fresh one in, and we'll come back when we've got this all ready to serve. I'd say that pie turned out nicely.
Very nice. It all looks delicious.
Yeah. Alright, we're just about ready to serve this up. Alright everybody, we wish you all happy Thanksgiving. And we're eating on our new plates. So out with the old, in with the new.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for this delicious suppy.
Well, it was my pleasure. I had fun cooking, folks. We're going to enjoy supper, and we hope you've enjoyed yours or are going to enjoy yours. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for watching.